Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope you are having a fantastic Wednesday wherever you may be across this great country or this great land. We got a bunch to dive into, very positive details out there about the return of Major League Baseball. And I want to thank you guys for all your support of Outkick right off the top. Right now, when I looked, we are the number 4 podcast in all of sports, the highest rated sports talk radio show in the country for this week, all right? Which is frankly kind of crazy, right? Because we're on 300 stations nationwide live, because we are on in all 50 states, satellite radio. You can stream us live. And right now, we're the highest rated sports talk radio show in the country. And I'd encourage you again to go subscribe, give us 5 stars. We're picking out the best 5-star reviews for the podcast, and we are sending autographed copies of the book. Jason Whitlock, our newest hire, my newest partner, is absolutely dominating. 3 straight extraordinary columns. If you haven't checked them out, I would encourage you to go read them. You can go to outkick.com, and I would, as always, encourage you to bookmark outkick.com and make sure you are seeing all the content that we are putting out. So, also go follow at Whitlock Jason on Twitter, but I appreciate all of the support you guys are giving. All right? So, a couple of things that I think are worth hitting here right off the top. There is an obsession in the media with the idea of a second wave existing. I told you this was going to happen as soon as the protest ended. The media was going to circle back around and they were going to start arguing that a second wave was underway. This was imminently predictable that the fear porn would return, and it would return in earnest. And I got to give credit to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who by and large has done a better job of explaining this coronavirus situation than anybody. Yesterday, and this is hardly getting any attention, which is crazy to me. Yesterday, DeSantis talked for a half hour in his YouTube presentation. And I'm going to share some of these graphics that he put out. But in particular, I want to hit you with this. The number of people hospitalized in Florida since April 15th is down 43%. All right? DeSantis put out the data between April 15th and June 15th. The overall number of people that are hospitalized has gone down by 43%. The number of people that are on ventilators in the state of Florida has declined by 56% since April 15th. So the age, why is this? Even as some of the cases have been increasing, why have the number of hospitalizations gone down so much? This is fascinating. The average age of coronavirus patient in Florida has gone over the past couple of months from 65 years old down to 37 years old. Why is that significant? If you are under 50 years old in this country, you are more likely to die driving to and from work than you are from the coronavirus. Doesn't mean you might not get it, but it means that the impact of the coronavirus on you physically is negligible. So what we are seeing is, as people are going back to work, many people are having to get tested to return to work. As hospitals are opening up for elective surgery, many people are getting tested for elective surgery. And so the number of people that are testing positive in some states is increasing, but the number of people that are having dire health consequences continues to decline, which is why if you look at the Florida death rate, at worst, it stayed pretty much the same since they opened back up. And honestly, if you look at it, it's trended down. So all of those are facts that were shared directly from the governor of Florida. All the people out there who are running around now like their hair's on fire with all the coronavirus panic are treating all coronavirus cases as if they are the same, when the reality is, for young people, there's almost zero risk. DeSantis also shared yesterday not one person under the age of 18 has died of the coronavirus in the entire state of Florida. I want to repeat that because there's a lot of people out there panicked in general. In the entire state of Florida, which is one of the biggest states in the entire country, not one person under the age of 18 has died in the entire state. All of these facts that I just hit you with were shared by the state of Florida yesterday. Again, ventilators use down 56% since April 15th. Hospitalizations down 43% since April 15th. Average age of infected person down from 65 to 37. And all of those data points are significant because they continue to reflect that there is not a substantial danger out there still for young and healthy people. In fact, you can argue that in the absence of anybody who has actually got a vaccine, which I wish we had, the best thing that could happen is for everybody under the age of 50 to simultaneously get the coronavirus so we could effectively create herd immunity in like 2 weeks. Because then the people who are out moving around, the virus wouldn't be spreading. And we know based on the data that if you are under 50 and healthy, that the chances of you having a substantial reaction to the coronavirus is almost zero. So again, data matters here in a big way. And it's just amazing to me how poorly the media has done a job of explaining the data. Again, I'm just sharing everything from the state of Florida in particular. I haven't seen the Texas data. I haven't seen the Arizona data. But for everybody out there who's like, oh my God, everybody's going to die, we're going to be fine. The people who are getting sick now either didn't know they were sick and had to get tested as a precondition to be able to go back to work, or by and large, they're young and healthy and having almost no impact, and that's why they're testing positive. And let me reiterate this again about college kids. There are a lot of people out there that want to spread fear porn about college athletes getting back on campus and testing positive. I'm looking at this differently. A college athlete getting back on campus and testing positive is actually a good sign because they have access to testing that they may not have otherwise had access to. Okay, let me repeat this. These college kids are getting better medical condition back on campuses, and almost all of them are asymptomatic, which means that otherwise they would have been out and about risking spreading the virus potentially. They're being now figured out that they have it and receiving the best possible medical care that they can in a way that they wouldn't have if they had stayed at home and never known that they had it. Furthermore, all right, just to test my hypothesis, there's no rush on testing going on right now anywhere in the state of Tennessee. Today, your boy went to a drive-through testing center to get tested myself for the coronavirus. I don't have any symptoms. I'm not at all concerned that I have it, but I wanted to be able to talk with you, and I'll talk about it on the radio again tomorrow, about what the experience of getting tested is like. I didn't want to go in when there was a massive number of people that were feeling like they were ill, and so I didn't want to take away a test when there were a lot of people out there. So I went in and got a test today. Went in for the drive-through testing in Williamson County, right outside of Nashville where I live. It took 15 minutes. It was completely free. It was a little bit weird to get a thing shoved all the way up my nose like that to be tested, but it took 15 minutes. It was completely free, and it was painless. And I'll tell you what my test result is, but I rolled right in. Somebody just said it in the comments. I rolled right in the Williamson County Ag Center. I rolled down my window. I didn't even have to get out of my car. It took 15 minutes. Car was rolling the entire time, and it was super smooth. So I wanted to experience it myself to see at least where I live what it was like to actually get a test. I went and got a test today, and I found it to be incredibly smooth. I'll let you know if I'm going to die soon. But so far, I feel pretty good. All right, so that's the coronavirus update. Now, you guys may have gotten an update on this, and I'm curious what you think, because every minute, and there's been so many twisted turns over this, but the latest is that Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, and Tony Clark, the MLB PA head, met face-to-face, and the Major League Baseball owners have now set back a proposed 60-game season, which would take place in 70 days. Play would start on July 19th. So that is at least pretty concrete positivity there. The Major League Baseball Union and the Major League Baseball owners at least moving towards finding a solution, a 60-game season. Again, I don't want to say they're done, but a 60-game season would start July 19th, according to media reports, and it would be a 60-game season. So we'll see whether or not that could end up happening, but we're now on to a 60-game season, and play would start July 19th, which is relatively soon. Okay, that is worth paying attention to and believing in, all right? Now, the English Premier League is now going to start on June 17th. They started today, all right? I want to talk to you about this for a minute. The English Premier League beat every American team sport back by weeks, if not months, despite the fact that England has twice the per capita death rate of the United States. Nearly twice the per capita death rate. All right, this is pretty significant. England, nearly twice the per capita death rate of the United States, yet they managed to get back playing soccer, a team sport, before any of our team sports get back. That's lunacy to me. I don't understand how they can manage to get back so quickly, and we could not manage to get back sooner than this. But props to the English Premier League for joining La Liga in Spain, for joining Serie A in Italy, for joining the Bundesliga in Germany, and getting back and being ready to roll. That is significance in the larger context of sports returning as well. The NBA put out bubble details, a 113-page manual for the details that will govern everything taking place inside of the bubble. I continue to believe that this is a ludicrous plan by the NBA that is going to look even more ridiculous by August than it does now, because the coronavirus cases are plummeting. The number of people who are actually in danger are continuing to plummet as well, as a result of the overall collapse of the coronavirus in this country. We're going to have every amusement park open. We are going to have everyone out there able to hang out in amusement parks and casinos. We're going to have fans in the stands on July 15th for NASCAR event in Bristol. And then in August and September and October, the NBA is still going to be playing with absolutely no fans present. This is one of the most ridiculous plans I have ever seen. I don't blame players for thinking it's absurd. My hope is that they're going to finish the season and maybe play the first round of the playoffs and then recognize how ridiculous it is and decide to go back to some form of normalcy for the remainder of the playoffs, where they could at least play in the home arenas and fly around easily to go back and forth. But it's going to look insane, I think, for the NBA to be playing inside of bubbles, and for NFL and college football teams and NASCAR events to all have fans present. Makes no sense at all. I don't blame players for not wanting to go into a bubble for months at a time. It's a plan, as I've been saying, that made sense for April, not for August. This doesn't make any sense at all. And so if you actually break it down, it's just a plan that doesn't have any sort of logical consistency to it. And moreover, states that are locked down and quarantined are seeing still more deaths than states that are wide open. If you actually look at what's happening in Pennsylvania or Illinois or states such as those, even New York and New Jersey, states that have been locked down for longer, they have a much higher death rate still than what we're seeing in Florida, Georgia, Texas, or Arizona, states that were all opened up. This is, I believe, an NBA plan doesn't make a lot of sense. However, I am entertained by the idea. You have an anonymous tip line. If people try to break quarantine, you have penalties. If people break the rules designed to protect everybody, you have, I believe, near certainty that girls are going to be trying to be snuck inside the bubble. This is going to be high-end theater to watch, no doubt. Finally, I'm so sick of colleges and the ridiculous woke decisions. Did you see that UVA on the Cavalier sword decided to remove the grip on the sword because there's supposedly a connection to racism? This is just off the charts stupid, all right? It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand what in the world UVA could be thinking. And then UNLV, which has basically a cartoon mascot, the Runnin' Rebels. They're called the Rebels because they rebelled from the larger UNLV system. They are now tearing down a statue of the UNLV Runnin' Rebel that was a cartoon designed back in, I believe, 1976 or so. Wokeness is a mind disease. And what you have to understand about wokeness is it's never satisfying. It's never satisfied. I'm telling you right now, they are going to be coming to tear down the Jefferson Memorial. They are going to be coming to tear down the Washington Monument. They are going to be coming to rename Washington, D.C. All of this is going to happen. The problem you get when you acquiesce to these woke losers is people believe if they give them what they want that they will stop. They don't stop. It is never ending with them. The way to end the woke virus is by combating it and saying, you guys are losers. We ain't changing anything. The way to end it is not by acquiescing and relenting to them time after time and changing stupidity. The way to end this absurdity is to say no more. And so I encourage all of you to stand up to these losers running around on social media demanding that everything be torn down, demanding that everything be taken down, even when there is no connection to anything awful at all. It's time for reasonable people to stand up against the insane idiots who are spreading this woke hysteria all over the country. You don't gain anything, UVA, by changing the handle of your sword. You don't gain anything by taking down a cartoon statue outside the Thomas and Mack Center, UNLV. This is lunacy. All right. I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis, DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I'm going to be on. Some of you may be fans of the Fighter and the Kid podcast. I literally, when I hang up with you guys, I'm about to hop on with those guys. I will be their guest. Go sign up for the Outkick podcast. Make sure that you don't miss it at all. We are surging. Maybe we can even go to number one overall in the world of sports. I appreciate all your support. Go read Outkick, bookmark it, add it to your list of sites that you're checking every day. This is Outkick the Show. I am Clay Travis. Tomorrow morning, by the way, on the radio program, 8:20 a.m. Eastern, Florida Senator Marco Rubio will be with us live to talk about a bill he is enacting in Congress, in the Senate, that would make athletes able to be paid for their name, image, and likeness. That will be a really entertaining conversation, 8:20 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you don't miss it. Should be fun. Marco Rubio, Senator from Florida, live on Outkick tomorrow morning to talk about the bill that he is introducing in the Senate. Kisses, DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. I am Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. See y'all. Thank you, Facebook. Go subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you don't miss Marco Rubio tomorrow. Look forward to it. See y'all.